Hello, everyone, and welcome to the ultimate show of the 2021 Football Queensland, formerly Football Brisbane season. The last Village Law SEQFC preview show for the year. My name's Darren. You know that. We've got two guests with us. We've got two regulars. One's named Tony. One's named Liam. Say good day, guys.
Good evening, gents.
All right. Now, last night we spoke to Darren Syme, who's the coach of Lions. Tonight, we're lucky enough to have the man who Tony takes out to coffee just the once. It's Ben
we just had a coffee together once.
Good evening. Good evening. I paid for coffee.
You paid for it?
I've no doubt, Ben.
No, mate, I'm Greek, not a Scotsman, mate.
Need to sell more cars, Tony.
Yeah.
There's no cars to sell. There's none in the country.
I see. That's the problem.
We've got a big problem.
Ben Cahn is, of course, the Olympic coach who's got that small matter of a grand final this weekend. Saturday night, 7:30. Unlike 5 o'clock, as it might say on the FQ website. FQ, have a look at that. 7:30, Saturday night. Ben Cahn, congratulations, mate. We touted you as favourites at the beginning of the season. Wheels came off a little bit halfway through, but you've come home like a steam train to rocket your way to the grand final.
Yeah, look, it was. It's been a really tough year at Olympic on the pitch and off it. A lot of things have happened behind the scenes, and the club's been hit quite hard. So that mid-season period was tough for us to get through, but. We knew coming into that last run that we had to win every game really after the Redlands draw, and thankfully we got it done.
Are you able to share some of those challenges?
Look, without going into detail that probably isn't appropriate for a light-hearted podcast. Obviously, we lost 3 really important members of the Olympic community throughout the year. In very different but very tragic circumstances, and those losses have come from different parts of the club and have obviously affected a whole lot of people. And it's been been really difficult. And look, from a footballing point of view, we had a great squad last year. We lost a lot of them, went back to Victoria. Kazuya retired, those types of things, and it was very difficult to try and replace them. So we had to adapt and try and find a new way to get results and play. And thankfully we got there just in time.
For sure. Was there a specific moment where the switch flicked?
Look, I think something we've learnt about this particular Olympic group, because each group over the years has been very different and had its own dynamic, but this group seems to perform well, or be at its best when we're under pressure. And the Redlands draw was obviously a massive disappointment for us, and we knew from there on, other results didn't go our way, that we simply had to win. Every game was a grand final for us, and the boys really responded well, and they dug deep and really came together at a time where they could have hidden, and came through with the goods.
Now, a few weeks ago, Tony Jorkis on this very show had a bit of a crack at the club. Did you watch it? Did you take notice of it? Did it have an effect?
No. I was sent the clip by numerous people, and look, Tony's part of the Greek community, and I know how much Olympic means to the Greek community of Brisbane. And Tony's also friends with a lot of people involved at Olympic, and I thought, obviously I was, there were some things in the comments that, I didn't necessarily agree with, but, I reached out to Tony. We had a great coffee, and, cleared any differences, and here we are today.
Good stuff. All right. So going into this game, you've You've got this is your fourth grand final in a row. You've lost the last three. How much of that history hangs over your head?
Look, it's. I think that's something that's probably more focused for people outside of our current group. So if you think about the current playing group, not many of them have been here for all four. So look, naturally, for those that have been involved, we're very desperate to win, and that's what we want to achieve on the weekend. But it's I think that pressure comes more externally than internally. We know from the inside that we've consistently performed really well. I've openly, clubs like Lions, Peninsula and Knights, they've really set a high bar. The way those guys operate is at a really high level on and off the pitch. And if you look at previous, prior to the entry of those guys into the league, the big clubs in the league were your kind of Olympic strikers, Western Pride, Brisbane City, Moreton Bay. And Royce has done a fantastic job keeping Moreton Bay in the race right up until the end. But if you look at those other clubs, it's only Olympic that's been able to consistently hang in with the new clubs that have come into the league. And for that, we're really proud. And people will spin anything however they like. But for the people involved on the journey, we're very proud and very happy with the consistency we've shown. But look, goes without saying that you get to a grand final, we want nothing more than to win it.
You've had a newborn the past couple of months. How's that? This is your first child, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So how's that changed your perspective on things?
Difficult question. It's look, he's come in at a whirlwind of a time, coming into at the end of a season where we're hanging on to our hopes to get into a top four. He's quickly been exposed to the pressures and dramas of football, but look, my perspective hasn't really changed. I'm very conscious that I want to be the best father and best partner I can be, and that's that's been a challenge. Trying to balance that while trying to really push hard to get into the top four with Olympic and be the best I can be as a football coach as well. But I think that it gives me nothing I'd like to see more than to be holding the trophy next to him on the weekend.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, Tony, he's all yours, mate. Hit him with some questions.
We've been talking for the last 2 weeks. So what changes this week compared to the last four grand finals, Ben?
Yeah, look, that's a question that I've been asked a few times this week. I come back to an answer that I mentioned previously, where it's not fair on me to or anybody to put the pressures of previous grand finals onto a lot of people in this current group, because they weren't involved. Some of them have been involved in one, some none, some two, and 3 or 4 of them have been involved in all 4. But we've reviewed our preparation processes, and we've analysed the 3 performances, and I obviously won't give too much away into how we may approach it this weekend. But in terms of the preparation, we've just tried to enjoy the week, acknowledge the achievement that we've got there again, and we've tried to fine tune a few small details to make sure that we get it right for this weekend.
Is that it, Tony?
Yeah, like I said, there's nothing else. They're there. That's what happens on Saturday. Surely not form. No?
What about Liam? Have you got a question for Ben?
More so that, as I said to Darren last night, with halfway through the season yourselves and Lions, they were unexpectedly at the middle of the table, and I don't want to keep harping on about that, because I think that's been done to death now. We all know where you were, and I think for both of your clubs to be in the position that you're in with the issues you had at the clubs with players, etc. It's for both the clubs to come from where you did and end up where you have, I think is is a tremendous thing for our game in Queensland. I think it showed a lot of heart, a lot of courage, and a lot of grit to get there. So certainly Olympic, as we know, had their knockers, and I have to, I admit I was one of them. And I think it's more power to Olympic, and for you guys to ignore all that noise. You've basically put your head down, and you've you've been up where you are. So this is your fourth in a row. So what with the coaching staff in the background, how many of them have been involved in the last three grand finals?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you approach this now to mentally for these players that haven't possibly played any finals?
Yeah, so obviously I've been involved. Andrew Shaw, our physio, has been involved. Nathan Muir, our assistant coach and analyst, have been involved. But we've recently acquired Richie Greer from Midlands.
Yeah.
And Richie's had an amazing impact on the back end of this season. It's probably no coincidence that our form's picked up. Look, Richie's been fantastic for me. I've been really tired and burnt out this year. And, he's really given me a new lease of life. He's given the players a new voice. So we have that new and fresh perspective as we approach finals and as we've approached this run home. So we'll be leaning on Richie's observations of our preparation and obviously on his expertise and his opinion in how he thinks we can approach it as well. But look, not too much has to change. If we've been through those last three games. I think in the Knights game, we went 1-0 down. They got a man sent off, and naturally we then were in control of the game. But we acknowledged amongst ourselves we didn't do enough to break them down until we scored in injury time. That was probably the most disappointing of them, because you play against 10 for a long period, and we had the tools to do it. We just didn't happen on the day. But if you look at the two Lions grand finals, 2018, we started really well. We went 1-0 up. They probably should have had a red card, and we missed an open goal all within that first 20 minutes. And in the end, it didn't work out that way, and they came home really strong and finished strong and pipped us at the end. And then if you look at last year, we missed a really good chance early, and then Jez was brought down as last man in the box by Andy Thompson, and we were pretty hurt by that. And Sakir had a couple of really good penalty shouts late on. But if these games are so close, they're all won and lost by one goal. They come down to those moments in games, and we know that there are things we can control and things we can't, and referee decisions are one of those things that we can't control. And we're obviously prepared that it may or may not happen again, and if it does, we just have to focus really hard on being able to manage it ourselves. And we'll we're very set on how we want to play tomorrow. On Saturday, we're very clear on how we think we can stop Lions and how we think we can break them down. So if we execute that and we give everything, I can't ask any more of the players in these games. They fall on a bit of luck and a bit of brilliance here or there, and see how it pans out.
You've lost Jez, obviously for good reasons, with his role now with Raw. Who are you looking at? I think I asked this with almost every grand final coach. Who in particular will you be looking at? Would you want to stand up for the match on Sunday? Like, who is it that you're going to drill into and say that I want you to lead? Obviously the captain probably, but anyone in particular in any sort of role?
Look, I think one of the differences from this year in comparison to previous years is we've got Zach Anderson, and he's an exceptional leader and an exceptional mature voice and personality within the group, and the other boys really lean on him as well with his leadership abilities. But I think one of the interesting things that's emerged since Jez got his opportunity is that other players have stepped up, and we've often been quite reliant on Jez to change games for us and really hurt opponents. But in the last few weeks, we've, Shannon's taken on a lot of that burden with the goal scoring, but obviously, Lecky's really stepped up, Whitey stepped up, and all those boys are playing really well. They're all involved in creating chances and making things happen in the front third. So it's not really a case. We're not putting pressure on anyone to really step up and be that kind of grand final hero. We know, as we've known for the last 5 or 6 weeks, that if we're going to get a result, it's going to take 11 players plus our bench to get it.
Yep.
Little side note going into this weekend, Sunshine Coast Grand Final was 3rd versus 4th. Gold Coast Grand Final was 3rd versus 4th. FQ Metro Capital League 1 Grand Final was 3rd versus 4th. That's just off the top of my head. And, of course, the NPL 3rd versus 4th. Fascinating that these teams, that they battle to win the premiership and then they get to the finals and, I don't know, maybe the intensity comes off a bit.
That's happened for years. Even I remember going back years ago, the team that normally won promotion never made the grand final because they're too busy partying for the next week.
Was that the same with Moreton Bay and Pride 2017? I think that wasn't it?
I'm not sure.
Look, any other wins the league just throws their hat in the. Well, look what's happened to Power 3 years in a row.
I missed that. What was that, Tony?
Power, got promoted. I don't think they made the grand final. They finished first 2 years in a row, haven't made the grand final. I know they party hard up that way. Every time they win so.
They do all their good work at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, maybe there's something in it. Maybe, winning the premiership, it relieves a bit of pressure and a bit of intensity, whereas the ones of us that have missed out, well, we've still got the only trophy left to play for. So naturally, we probably have to go a bit harder, and it means a bit more to us than it does to the guys that have already won the league.
True.
Before we let you go, Ben, the FFA Cup, you're still in it, aren't you?
No. We lost Peninsula.
That's right. All right. Be interesting to see what happens with that competition.
Yeah. I think everybody involved in the FA are pretty determined to get it finished one way or another. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out and what it looks like.
Yeah.
There's a game tomorrow, isn't it? Melbourne City and South Melbourne tomorrow night.
Yeah. I think the big problem is going to be the Perth teams because if Perth doesn't open until into 2022, that the competition is going to go well into March, probably next year.
Yeah, and then that potentially puts delays on next year's cup as well. Then. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Ben, I just want to ask you one final nerdy question. Given the time that you've been at the club, what technological advances have you seen that have progressed the game over the past few years?
At our level or on a global level?
At your level, yeah. So like your sports science or your use of video. You mentioned before that you had an analyst. I bet you didn't have one in your first season, right?
Yeah. He's been. Look, I think it's pretty standard practice now for whether that role doubles as an assistant coach or whether that's a standalone analyst. It's pretty common practice now for a club, clubs to practice analysis on opponents and on themselves, and who does that, I guess, looks a bit different at each club. We're quite detailed at Olympic with our sports science, and it's something we take a big interest in, and we're obviously very proud of our injury prevention record. I think we've done exceptionally well in the last 4 years to keep as many players on the pitch as possible. Obviously now you have a lot of companies competing for that data and statistics space within clubs, and I think there's a few Queensland clubs that are using Instat at the moment. We use Instat, but there are other clubs that are other companies that are moving into that space as well now, and most clubs are at least exploring or delving into that world. All
right. Now, finally, Sunday. If you get over the line, which you expect to get over the line, is it a moment that you've envisaged? Do you sort of have an expectation of how you're going to react?
No, No. My job's to prepare as well as I can, prepare the players as well as they can this week, and make sure they're ready for the game. And if we get the result we want, then we'll deal with the rest afterwards.
Good stuff. All right. Thank you very much for your time, Ben. I'm sure that on Saturday, should you get over the line, all eyes are going to be on you, mate. We're going to be looking at your reaction and just seeing what happens. And we wish you the best of luck.
All right. Thanks very much, Darren. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Liam.
Good luck, Ben. See you, mate.
See you guys. Thank you. Cheers.
Good stuff. All right. That's Ben Cahn, coach of Olympic. Now, we've still got Tony and Liam here. Just want to run through another couple of topics that we didn't get through in last night's show just before we finish up.
Sure.
Guys, what was the best game that you saw this year?
Personally, the best game I saw was the semi-final between Brisbane City and Western Pride. I think it was a 3-2 game, but it was good, fantastic match. I think Pride were probably the only team that probably gave City a run every match, but it was a quality game. Like, even though City came out in front over my boys, both clubs played so well. Hard football, fast football, quick passing, comebacks. It was a fantastic game. A really, really great game.
What about you, Tony?
And I haven't, like I said, I haven't been to too many games. So I think the Olympic Raw Youth game, 2-2 draw in the first round, was the best one I've been to.
Okay. Now, the best game that I saw this year wasn't so much for what was happening on the field, but what was happening off it. In that, I had a friend who had a bet pre-game, right? There was that the away team was going to win this game by 2 goals. The home team scored first, then the away team scored 3-1, right? So it was 3 goals. So it's a winning bet. Then the home team, on a counter-attack, scored to make it 3-2. 20 minutes to go. The away team peppered the goal. The goalkeeper just became an absolute dynamo, pulling saves left, right, and centre. Balls hitting the post, corner after corner after corner. No goals, right? Into injury time. The final kick of the game was a corner. Again, mad scramble. Keeper manages to clear it. Referee blows full time. And as the ball comes out, there was a player that was lining up for a shot. And then they just cut loose, top bins. My friend who had that bet missed out by 1 second. 1 second.
I love it.
You can't believe it.
So who do we think will win on Saturday night?
Yes,
I think Olympic will get it. I think it's Olympics time. I think after everything they've been through this season, I think it'll be a cracking match. It'll be a low scoring match, and I think Olympic are just going to get up.
What do you reckon, Tony?
Yeah, they have to. This is it.
Yeah.
This is the
I'll
one.
tell you, this is the one. If they don't win this one, I don't know what happens.
More coffee?
Surely you can't lose 4 on the road. Surely it'll be more than coffee, mate.
Okay, gunfire breakfast, you reckon? Have a bit of...
No, I don't think it'll be that. Look, psychologically, you would think some of those blokes, and there's 3 or 4 of them that have been through there, would be mentally scarred.
Yeah, and I think having Zach in there as well. I think
here's the difference. And I said that last night. I think here's the difference between them this year and last year.
You hope he's going to steady the ship as well. And look, the backroom staff there, they've obviously been through a few 3 grand finals as well now, and you'd like to think that the mentality coming into this now and after the year they've had with the pressures and all the knockers that they might turn around.
I don't know whether they're knockers. I just think people were expressing that.
Okay, maybe it's a poor term, but maybe a full-time whistle. Maybe maybe you might be a big middle finger to everyone.
Yeah, good on them.
They wrote them off. So
it'll be fascinating if Lions score first how Olympic reacts.
Well, I you know what? If Lions score first, I don't think Olympic can win.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
that will even knock him down further psychologically. Here we go again.
Yeah.
Oh, well, they'll have to score first, won't they?
I would say if I was Olympic, I would go at 100 miles an hour like a bull at the gate, get one early and just go from there. Because they've been very solid at the back recently.
Yeah.
No matter. And how is young Farina fit?
I honestly don't know.
He got belted the last tackle of the game on Friday, I think.
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
Haven't asked.
Anyway, hopefully it's not the referee that gets all the attention like last year, and we'll go from
there. Yeah, that was a controversial game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I think Olympic know deep down that if there's any 50-50 calls, they're not going to get them.
Well, there is that theory, isn't there, that Lions get all the games. So.
And not just last year. Go back a few more, you find out, you see a few.
Yeah. And there was that big controversy as well, the Lions in the FFA match against City as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know whether people look too far into that, or there's something behind it. You know, it's a good argument.
Well, there are so obvious decisions that don't go certain club ways. And the City one, the FFA Cup was a classic. There was a penalty. The bloke wasn't even in the box.
Yeah. That's right. It was like half a foot out.
Yeah,
that's right.
And last year in the grand final, there was a bloke that would have signed up for the Broncos.
Yeah.
Oh
well, we'll just add to the spice with those comments, won't we? You know, it's good. It's good fun.
Yeah.
All right, guys, is that our show? Is that our show for the year? Are we done?
I think so. Yeah, it's been fun. It's been interesting.
It has been fun.
We've upset a few people, but that's the way it goes. You win some, you lose some.
Yeah, but I think, look, I've enjoyed the year. It's been some great discussion points. You know, we've had a few clubs that went up and down, and women's game, men's game. It's been good. Enjoyed it. Football Queensland changes. You know, lots of talking points. We need to get SAS on next year.
If it's taken clubs to use me to motivate their players, I've got problems.
Yeah. Yeah. We need SAS on next year.
We do.
He says that she's got nothing to say, but we know that's not true.
Exactly. She's got plenty to say.
Well, you're both going on Saturday night?
I'm working, mate. Yeah.
I was going to say I'll buy you a beer, mate.
Yeah. Oh, maybe next year. We'll take a rain check on that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's always next year.
All right, guys, we might put a wrap on things there. Thank you to all of our guests this year for your time. We really appreciate it. For those of you out there that have taken the time to watch our show and listen to us rabble on, we really appreciate you too.
Yeah. I'll just say something though, Darren. Someone that like yourself to really push these shows, and Tony and I know what goes on behind the scenes. We try and get guests each week. Yeah. I think you ought to be congratulated every week you're hosting, and I think everyone who's come on has enjoyed it. They've enjoyed the discussions, and that's down to you trying to really push these shows. So, congrats! Thank you very much for having us on, and thank you for another year.
Thanks, Darren. Well done.
Thanks, Tony. I'd also like to thank our sponsors, Vilic Law, for the continued support, the fantastic support that they do, not only for our page, but for football in general, all the competitions that they support. To KPI for our clobber. Thank you for the great gear. We love that. And yes, Photo of the Year competition. Entries close on Tuesday. Get your shots in. And that's it. So this has been the Village Store SEQFC preview show for 2021. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next year.